Hello, Guardians. Welcome back to Tower Casuals, the Destiny podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Corey Deerigan. Alongside me, as always, is the man who deserves his own throne world, Josh Finney.
Oh, man. Corey, before we get started, we both have show and tell.
We do.
For those of you who are listening on audio, I am holding up the white Taken King Destiny PS4 model.
It's amazing. I love that.
That I found at a local resale shop for $160 after tax.
It's amazing.
And it was totally worth every single penny that I paid for it. I have been wanting this console for forever. I am very leery of buying consoles off eBay. I want to say that right now.
Yeah.
Not just because I want them to work, but because I'm always skeptical that I'm not going to get what I actually ordered.
Yeah.
So to actually see one, the last time I saw one of these bad boys in person was before PS5s came out.
Ooh.
So this thing was still selling for like $350, $400-ish. If you found it at a local resale shop. You know, it's a special edition console. It's the current console that's out, blah, 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 blah. So this is my first time seeing one in a few years. And, man, it took me about 2 seconds to decide I was buying it.
You struck while the iron's hot, right?
I did not plan to buy I didn't plan to buy anything at the shop that day. We just kind of went because I wanted to look around.
Yeah.
They had an entire shelf of D2 seal pins also, including the flawless seal from Season of the Worthy when Trials relaunched.
Ooh.
I thought about getting a couple seal pins because that's why we were still in the store. Funny enough, if I had decided to buy those seal pins, I wouldn't have seen this because I wouldn't have kept walking around.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't look at the PlayStation consoles usually, but they're over there by checkout and I saw it out of the corner of my eye. I was going to drop like $30 on some smaller things we saw. And I was like, oh my God, I'm buying this. So, yeah, I bought a birthday present from Me to Me. I might still go back for some of those seals because aside from the Trials seal, they were all priced at about what you would have paid for a seal plus shipping. There's maybe a little markup on some of the raid seals, and that was it. I don't think a single seal cost more than $40-$45 other than the Trials one, which is, I think, $75. Wow. I really contemplated the Trials one, and it's like, man, I already think that like $30-$35 after shipping is too much for a pin. I cannot do that much on this. I'd rather just buy a Trials pin like off Etsy at that point.
Yeah.
Or like ask somebody to 3D print me one.
Right.
If I care that much. So also like I haven't earned the Trials title. I've just been flawless, like a dozen times.
Josh, you're always flawless.
I would rather they did a pin that season that if you went flawless even once to the lighthouse, you got it. I would rather have that one, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Or just like Trials Insignia. I don't want to pay $75-$80 for that. And I realized that's actually cheap on the resale market. Those things on eBay are going for like $300-$400 because you had to do it that season.
Right.
The other one I saw that I really liked, they had the original Grandmaster seal, which again, same thing. You had to do it that first season. And they had the Deepstone Crypt one. They had the Vault of Glass, and I think the Garden of Salvation raid ones were all in there also. Nice. I really thought, like, man, how badly do I want any of these? And just nothing compared to the console. The console wins.
No, you gotta get that console. I mean,
the other one that I contemplated getting before I saw this, they had the Wind Waker Wii U.
Yeah, that's not as rare as you think it is.
It's definitely not as rare, but it was more expensive.
Yeah. I mean,
so I should preface it by saying this is a retro shop, and a lot of their business comes from Nintendo and Pokemon items.
Yeah,
they have an entire Pokemon card section. They have an entire wall of plushies that are clearly like imports. Like this place knows what they have.
Yeah,
like they sell sealed inbox copies of Pokemon Red, for God's sake. I think it was like $1,200 if you wanted Red inbox. Brand new sealed in box, graded, etc.
I only need the box.
So they also had the Game Boy Color, not the yellow one that I have on my shelf back there. They had the silver one with Pikachu and Pichu on it.
Ooh.
Complete inbox, $1,200.
It's a good deal.
This again, like this is a store that like that. Those are outrageous prices. I just want to like clarify that. This is why I don't get into retro collecting.
Yeah,
but this is a shop that understands what they have and they take care of their shit.
Yeah.
So like the other, I looked at a few. I say I didn't look at. I looked at several consoles. They had the Gears Xbox One S, which I have coveted for a long time.
That's the red one.
Mm-hmm. It's the red one with the gear symbol on it.
Yeah.
And they had the controller, which is the same color scheme.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, man, I've really wanted one for a long time. Like it was like 150. I was like, do I get this and like just put it up there? And it's like, oh, Destiny wins out. Like I was still thinking about the Gears console and I was like, if it had been the R2D2 360, it would have been a different story.
Mm-hmm.
Then I would have had a genuine decision to make, but I've seen that a few times and passed up on it. The PS4 case had shockingly good ones. They had this one. They had the Spider-Man PS4 Pro. Ooh. The Days of Play PS4, which I've never actually seen one of those in person.
I didn't even know those were like for sale.
Yeah, it was the blue one. So it was you could buy it as a limited edition model, but those were the ones they sold out like immediately.
Yeah.
I've never actually seen one in person, and so that one was a little more expensive. They had the Black Ops 3 PS4 and the God of War PS4.
The gray one with like the yellow Norse symbols on it. Yeah, I really liked that one.
They had that, and then in the PS5 cabinet, they had the PS5 with the Spider-Man 2 plates on it.
Nice.
I was like, man, if they were just selling like the plates and the controller, I would really think about this. Again, like that's another thing. Like, man, if it was just the plates, I would have bought the plates and wouldn't have questioned it. I wanted them, but you know, combination of not having the funds and the fact that they sold out immediately on PS Direct.
Yeah.
I did laugh. The last time I was in there, they had it was right after Concord got canceled. It was like 2 months after Concord got shelved. They had one of the PS5 controllers sealed in box there, and they were selling it for like $300. That thing has sold. Somebody bought it. I don't know who, but somebody bought it.
To be fair, the Concord controller looked cool.
That is so. In terms of like special controllers, I know none of this is like Destiny related outside of my console.
Sure,
but Xbox like had the market on special controllers for so long.
Yeah.
And this generation, it's flipped on its head. Sony has had just banger after banger. I feel like they started out a little bit rough, but the Astrobot controller, the Concord controller, I just got the Helldivers one in the mail a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
They just showed off a Last of Us controller, which I don't really like, but I know that's going to sell like hotcakes.
So ugly, dude. The
Spider-Man 2 controller.
I think the reason is because Xbox hasn't really had any games to like promote a controller with, like, because remember the Forza Horizon one was super cool and the Halo Infinite ones were super cool, but like, what have they really released AAA wise since then to warrant a controller aside from maybe Avowed this year?
I would say, so it's funny because I felt like they were moving away from those controllers and trying to push you towards Design Lab for those, because they did have some good designs for, I can't believe I'm saying this, for Black Ops 6. They did some Fallout ones last year, which I like the Fallout ones.
Oh, right, yeah.
And then they did Redfall, and I think they got scared off after how bad Redfall was. They got scared off from doing any others. I will say they did a Starfield one, and that one is awesome.
Oh yeah, I do remember.
That is a really cool controller because we have that controller. That's the one that Chelsea uses on our Series S. That's a really cool one. It's got the translucent triggers, which I really like. And I bought the 20th anniversary Xbox controller. That was my saga of going through hell with Amazon to get it delivered.
Right.
But yeah, it's just been really weird over like the last 18 months. It's like, damn, Sony's released so many banger controllers, and like I don't even play on PS5, and I really, really want, if I ever find the Astrobot one for like under $100, I'm pulling the trigger. Whereas like there's only like one or two other Xbox controllers I'd be like, yeah, I want these, and then I'm good. Like I still have my Titanfall one, I have my Halo 5 controllers.
The Titanfall one was awesome.
I have two of them.
Nice.
Because I had bought one for me and I bought one for Chelsea.
You know, go with that is that the Titan statue.
The Titan statue that is my white whale of collectibles. Yes. This would be a fun topic to have. I think maybe we'll have it next week on Xbox Casuals. What are our white whales when it comes to game collecting? Because I know you like collecting games. I like collecting all the paraphernalia.
Yeah. Well, I like. up until very recently.
I say that as you have a whole wall of paraphernalia behind you.
That's true. But the thing is like up until very recently, I haven't had anywhere to put things.
Right.
So
Isn't your Gears Lancer still at your parents' house?
Yeah, they're both still. Oh, I have two of them. I have the Retro Lancer, the one with the big knife on the front of it, and then the other regular one. So
I love it so much.
Oh man, good times, huh?
Good times.
Yeah, I think in terms of consoles, like I do want the Destiny PS4 that you got, but I also really want the Gears 5 Xbox One X, the white and blue one that is like snow covered.
Yeah.
Man, I gotta tell you though, in terms of collector's edition consoles, I think the Halo 4 Xbox 360.
That is my. I was trying to think. I was like, man, I really wanted a 360 model. I keep forgetting that is a 360 game because it came out so close to the Xbox One.
I know.
That console is, in my opinion, still maybe the best looking special edition console ever made.
Yeah.
It had the unique lights, the sounds, all that.
The controllers.
Cool. That was, I feel like that was really when, because like the Reach console was cool. Yeah. The Halo 3 one looked like puke.
Yeah, it was that nasty sage green with
I never understood the people who like actually liked that. For me, it was, when I saw that, it was like, oh, I give a shit about special consoles now. Because like the only one who was really doing it correctly was Nintendo with the DSs.
Yeah.
And even then, it was a Zelda one or a Pokemon one, and they were sold out instantly.
Yeah.
So,
even Nintendo's kind of backed away from that a little bit this generation.
I mean, also like, just the nature of the Switch, I think, makes it a lot harder to do it. Like, it's so much easier to be like, "Hey, we made special Joy-Cons."
Yeah.
Which, like, I'm a slut for some Joy-Cons, Corey.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I bought the Zelda ones. I got the Splatoon ones, which I've used the Splatoon ones the entire generation. They finally got stick drift, and it just crushed me to retire them. Yeah. They got the ones they came with the OLED console. Like, they literally only did Zelda, Splatoon, and Pokemon special Switches.
Yeah, and they did that.
And New Horizons. Excuse me.
They did that. They did that weird red Mario one, right? Where it was.
They did, didn't they?
Yeah, but it was just red. There was.
Yeah, I don't consider that a special one though. Like the others had themed docks and shit like that.
Yeah, the only thing about the Mario one is that when you open the dock in the back, there was like a 8-bit Mario with some coins back there.
That's cool, but not worth spending the money for.
Yeah.
Oh man, Corey, you also have show and tell though.
I do have show and tell. For those of you who would like a Saint 14 helmet, they are on sale on Amazon for $21 and some change dollars.
This is far. I like the mini helmets. I think the Nezarec Sin one looks really good. I have the Lord Shax and Celestial Nighthawk ones. Shout out to Ronnie when he told me that they were on sale, and I ran out to GameStop and got them on clearance. Mm-hmm. This is the best looking helmet by far. It's not even a contest.
Yeah, it's really cool. Like even the fin has like a has like a texture to it. It's cool.
I like that. That is. I've really slowed up on my Destiny collecting. I say as I have a special console sitting next to me now. I've really slowed the money I'm spending on Destiny because like I can, I'm not spending as much time in the game. I'm still really liking what I'm playing, but also like your priorities with money start to change at a certain point. Yeah. And like what you want to spend the money collecting and this and that. Like, man, I bought 3 Nerf guns in the last couple of years. I'm running out of place to put shit. Yeah. I'm in an apartment. I'm not in a house. I'm running out of room to put things without leaving them in the box and storing them in my garage or my closet. So it's like, if I don't have room to display it, I don't really want to buy it right now. So
yeah, that's kind of where I'm at in general is like, if I can't put it on a shelf and display it somewhere, or like, I'm looking.
You're also running the risk of little monsters destroying your things.
Yeah, but they're pretty good about handling my things.
Yeah.
So I don't really have issues with that yet. But I'm
famous last words.
I am looking at more shelving units to kind of put behind me, bigger ones to fit more stuff.
I've thought about getting some of those nice IKEA ones with the glass doors.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we'll
But I
see.
have so many books.
Yeah. We'll see. I'm also Josh, I've been diving back into the physical collecting of other consoles besides Nintendo again because
Mhm.
games are being delisted, Josh,
Yeah.
quite a bit lately. I don't know if you know this or not, Josh, but
I may have gone on a rant or two about this.
yeah. So and it's not that like I don't care that like the game isn't on the disc. It's not about that. It's more about like, you know, I have it if it gets delisted or like taken away from you because
Yeah,
there's
I think my
a
problem with
license
some games
negotiation too.
now, especially like from Xbox,
Mhm.
is the game isn't on the disc, and so I guess like once you no longer have access to those servers, you can't download the game anymore.
Yeah.
So I think that's the only thing that like concerns me about those is like you don't even have like a playable version of the game like patchless that you can play anymore.
Yeah, but I feel like at least for first party stuff, if any of the first parties go away, I feel like there's going to be a bigger problem in the world than just
That's true.
not being able to play your video games, right? Like if
That's
Microsoft
true.
goes under, there's probably a bigger problem.
OpenAI has completely collapsed. Yeah.
Yeah. Terminator is real.
Oof, we may not be too
Yikes.
far off. Uh, I digress, though. Corey, we have some Destiny to get into tonight.
We have a lot of Destiny to get into, Josh.
We had an awesome live stream on Tuesday, and I want to preface it by saying this was a really awesome live stream. I felt they showed plenty of the new activity for Act 2, and then they showed us a lot of what's coming in Act 3, because when we last met, that was kind of the concern that we had is Act 3 going to fall on its face? I've had this discussion with a few people over the last couple weeks. Like, man, my concern is you have some good momentum right now. Are you going to be able to keep that? Because Act 2 is only 3 weeks long, and then we're launching straight into 3, which tells me there's some big story beats they don't want getting data mined or spoiled.
Yeah.
And I was not expecting what we got in this live stream. I want to start there, and I say that in the best way possible. That is not a negative comment by any stretch of the imagination that I am saying. We have a few questions about it, obviously. I want to start with what they showed us for Act 2, which is the return of sorts of the Court of Oryx. And I can only hope this activity is better than Challenge of Elders. Because I don't know about you. I have a love-hate relationship with the Court of Oryx from D1. I loved it because anybody could come join it. I hated it because anyone could come join it, because whenever people came to join it, they always spammed the first or second tier runes. And if you got a third one, if you were lucky enough to get a tier 3 rune, those were hard to get the drop in the early days of Taken King.
Mm-hmm.
You go and slot it, and people have no idea what they're doing. They don't, because there were actual like raid mechanics to it.
Yeah.
That was one of the most infuriating things about it to me. Like I was watching this with Joe, and I was like, yeah, I don't know if I classify this as a fan favorite. He's like, oh, dude, you're in the minority on that. I was like, really? Because I feel like when we talk about classic Destiny activities, Court of Oryx has kind of gotten lost along the way.
Yeah, I feel like not a lot of people talk about that anymore.
I also just think that, like, in terms of the people who are around for Taken King, like, there's not a lot of us left.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of us have fallen off the wagon since then. Like, man, that was 10 years ago. This September, that was 10 years ago.
I'm aware. Don't remind me.
10 years ago. My back hurt saying that out loud. But I think this is a cool activity that they're doing. They're bringing back Court of Oryx, and they are calling it the Court of Blades. I like the way this is set up. This looks really fun. And it's something that I don't feel like I'm going to have to play a ton of, to be honest. So in this, they show us jumping through a Taken portal repeatedly. And the first one they jump through, we end up in Io. We end up in one of the courtyards in Io. And I thought this was really, really cool because, we're back here, and it's basically still Taken. It wasn't returned to us, even though the witness has been defeated, which I found a little weird, and I'm gonna need some sort of lore explanation on that eventually, Bungie, because your excuses for, well, that's why we created the Destiny content vault, and this and that, and well, there's really not a story reason for them to still be missing.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna need that to be taken care of. One of the big things is the storyline of it is Oryx is using this as a battleground to test you as his successor. You've got Ziva Wrath, who was offering her own champion, and then you got Savathun, who's like, hey, he killed you, can't we just like move on past all this sword logic bullshit now? And it's funny that she's the one making the most sense for once. I found that was really, really funny. They say that these runs are supposed to be shorter than another, typically about 10 minutes to a run. It looked very fun and very creative. Like, you can pick what you're going to go do, essentially, from different modifiers and boons that are there. Takes players' locations from the Vaulted Planets, including Io. I believe we saw one on Io. We saw one on Europa, and then the final room of the Barodiad mission was one of the other rooms that we saw. Includes roguelike elements. Some are designed to empower abilities outright, while others will add... I don't want to say add boons, but add... I'm going to call them Banes. We fight Banes in the game now. I'm going to say they add Banes to you, and you can get additional rewards. And then some of the buffs are taken directly from exotics, and the example we got used was Sunbracers. It's going to be wild. You can also get adept weapons from the expert mode of this, just like you can from expert nether. I'm stoked. This looks really, really fun. I can't wait. I can't wait. This just seems like it's going to be a blast. I'm here for anything like this that is reimagining old content, especially if it's just going to go away. Like, why spend all this time making something brand new? Use existing content. This is what we talk about when we say you're using existing content to make something new and have us experience it in a new way. This is what I'm talking about. Pretty much everything they've done this season is that mantra. That's what seasonal content needs to be. Change the world for, a year. Let the EDZ be transformed. And I know that there's technical reasons why we can't really do that with EDZ and Nessus. Bear with me. I think the Echoes kind of achieved that, but it was still within the realm of those seasonal activities, unfortunately. I would love to see the world transform permanently at some point. And I think doing that within a confined space like the Dreadnought, or like we saw with the Castellum in Season of the Haunted, those are ways to do that, to give us old areas in a new way, not whatever bullshit we got on Titan in Season of the Deep.
Yeah.
But all that aside, we got some other awesome stuff coming here. 4 new weapons are dropping with Act 2. I believe this is it for the seasonal weapons. We get Refusal of the Call, a Strand Adaptive Glaive, Anamnesis, a Void Lightweight Bow, Division, which is an Arc 2 Burst Sidearm, and Afterlight, a Void Adaptive Fusion. These look awesome. These look awesome.
Yeah.
I love the design of these. That glaive with the expert coating on it is one of the coolest legendary weapons I feel like they've ever made.
Yeah.
And I want to keep coming back to this. I love the aesthetic of the weapons this episode so much. It's so good. But thanks to good old Dim, we have the full perk pool for weapons. I guess not Dim, like GG, really. On Refusal of the Call, you can get Impulse Amplifier, Slice, Tilting at Windmills, Envious Assassin, Replenishing Aegis, Discord, and Auto-Loading Holster. And then in column 4, you can get Melee Momentum, Vorpal, Unstoppable Force, Sword Logic, Close to Melee, Disruption Break, and Beacon Rounds. I am very excited to play around with this. I love Impulse Amplifier on a glaive, personally. I am excited to play with that on this. Tilting at Windmills, I think, is going to be a lot of fun. That with Close to Melee could be really, really fun combo. I'm excited. This is the first Strand Glaive, and I think they're delivering here. The sidearm is a 2 burst. I can't even remember the last 2 burst we got, honestly. But it's got some interesting ones. I'm gonna need to play with this to see how much I like it, because that first column, you got Perfect Float, you got Eddy Current. I do like Eddy Current. Hipfire Grip, To the Pain, Pugilist, Grave Robber, and Encore. And column 4 is where you got all the good shit. Volt Shot, Kill Clip, Sword Logic, Swashbuckler, Offhand Strike, Eye of the Storm, and Surrounded. pretty excited to play around with this. Probably Hipfire Volt Shot or Grave Robber Volt Shot is what I'm going to be going for on this. Anamenesis. This one, this is going to be another one of those. Yeah, you can get Dragonfly, Successful Warm Up, Repulsor Brace, and then you can get Destabilizing, Demoralize, Impulse Amplifier, Sword Logic, Moving Target, Explosive Head, all in that second column. That's going to be disgusting. This is another one in contention for maybe one of the best designed seasonal weapons we've ever gotten.
Yeah,
because this one, like, it looks like mechanical, but with the bone also. It's a very interesting mashup here. And then, of course, the final one, we've got Afterlight, the Void Fusion, Under Pressure, Grave Robber, Lead from Gold, Discord, Offhand Strike, Ambitious Assassin, and Pugilist. And then that last column, you've got Reservoir, Swashbuckler, Adagio, Cornered, Vorpal, Successful Warm-Up, and Destabilizing. I honestly don't know what I like on this one yet. I think it's kind of comparable to the one from Vespers, if we're being honest.
Mm-hmm.
I'd almost rather go get that one, but this one will be infinitely easier for you to farm than that one, obviously. So,
yeah.
But yeah, I think these weapons are cool. I want to talk a little bit more about the Act 1 weapons when we get further into this episode, because we haven't really dove into the weapons yet. I'm excited to talk about those, and then these we're going to have to get to during Acts 2 and 3. I think we're going to have plenty of time in Act 3 to get to any weapons that we've missed. It's just a little hunch to me.
Just a hunch.
Just a hunch. We also got a new row of artifact perks. These are the most busted artifact perks we have seen in a very long time, I feel. So they're all trace rifle related also, which I really like trace rifles. I don't know if you guys know that. I'm a big trace rifle fan.
Josh, do you like trace rifles?
I love trace rifles, Corey. Overlord Overload trace rifles. You guys know how that works. Beam Medic. This is a cool one. Rapid trace rifle final blows heal you and nearby allies. Powerful combatants increase the amount. Elemental Siphon. Rapid final blows with a kinetic weapon or a weapon matching your equipped super create an elemental pickup that matches the equipped super. You can get a boost on that. Elemental pickups grant matching super energy when they are collected. So, Warlocks with Geomags, your time is now. Hunters with Orpheus rigs, your time is now. There's going to be some absolutely just nutty things happening, and I can't wait. Also, Hunters with Celestial Nighthawk, go burr. Harsh Refraction. Trace rifles do more damage to targets afflicted by elemental debuffs matching their element type. That one, I believe we have had explicitly confirmed to work with Microcosm. And Microcosm essentially has not come out of my heavy slot since it came out. I love that gun so much. And of course, the final one, which I'm so excited for this. Limit Break. A nice little homage to Final Fantasy there. Casting a super while you are critically wounded or have an elemental buff matching your super element grants a period of increased super damage.
Nice.
So yeah, stacking this with something like Geomags on Warlock, or stacking it with Curse of the Falling Star, or, Hunters, Gathering Storm, Orpheus rigs, Celestial Nighthawk. Like, there are so many ones that this is going to apply to and make them so good right off the bat, because you can just start chaining supers.
Yeah.
I can't wait. I'm very, very excited. We got a tease of what Act 3 is going to have for it, and they was described as rockets and Strand. So I'm interested to see how that is. I like that they're giving us some really busted stuff. I think part of that's with the knowledge that this season is about to be really long.
Yeah.
And they want to make it as fun as possible, because there's a few things coming up that we got teased for Act 3 that made me more excited than anything shown here. I want to be honest. But before we get to that, Baradzyad's first 2 exotic catalysts are going to be coming out with Act 2. The others will come out in Act 3. The catalysts, I believe, are target lock 1 for all, which, holy shit, that's really great for this. I love that. There's also supposed to be additional content in the Derealize mission. So if you have not gone and done Derealize, go do it. It is my favorite exotic mission of the year by far. It is the only one that's actually felt like an exotic mission to me also. Because Encore was just, oh boy, we're hiking for like 40 minutes and fighting a Vex Mind. Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Kel's Fall had a cool mechanic of jumping through the mirrors, but you know, our old friend Fickroll died in literally 10 seconds. So you know, we gave him the flu shot and he died. So make of that what you will.
Oh boy.
Full customization for a Barrow Dyad will come, and complete access to Derealize will come with Act 3, as well as them saying that basically this is going to go a little bit deeper than just catalysts and barrels. I did not catch this, but Bungie showed one. I was also like very distracted while I was trying to watch this. Bungie apparently showed one with a completely different exotic perk on it.
Ooh.
So interested to see if that is a real thing or if somebody just missaw. I'm taking somebody else's word for it here. Let's talk about one of the things that I'm really excited for, though, Corey.
Guardian Games.
No. Although I do think Guardian Games is being overhauled in a really great way. And I can't wait to talk about it with the TWAB.
I do think the armor looks cool.
I think it looks cool. I think the event sounds really cool this time around. Like, no bullshit. Guardian Games actually sounds like they put some thought and effort into it. We have a returning strike from the Taken King, Corey.
What? Shield Brothers.
Nope.
Aw.
It is. That was pretty much my reaction. Oh, fan favorite strike is coming back, and I was like, it was like that meme of Pierce Schneider during the GameCube reveal, during the Twilight Princess reveal, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And then Sunless Cell.
Oh, what?
Yeah. My excitement just went completely out the window. So they have said that there is a new story and a new final boss for this strike, though. Since we already fight Alakul in the Light Blade. So I'm interested to see what this is. I joked, wouldn't it be funny if we fought the Shield Brothers in the Sunless Cell? But I feel like it's got to be a Taken or a Hive boss. There are a lot of fan theories that it's going to be Kel'Garath.
Yeah, I saw that.
I think that would be really, really cool. I would love that. That would be, the end to a very long lore witch hunt that we've gone on, essentially. Judgment of Kel'Garath was one of our earlier glaives. I would be 100% behind this. I'd really, really like it.
You know who it's going to be, Josh?
It's going to be Taniks. That's going to be Taniks. Dread it, run from it. Taniks arrives in every expansion all the same.
Oh.
I feel like they just know that it's a meme at this point.
Yeah. I think the very last expansion ever is just going to be Taniks. Like, he finally found his way to take over, and you have to stop him. Maybe Taniks.
I find it very funny that when you do Salvation's Edge, you basically fight not Taniks in the second encounter.
Yeah.
And that's what I call him every time we do it. I'm like, oh, hey, it's time to go fight not Taniks, guys. Let's go do it.
Taniks is actually the winnower.
Oh my god, I would be so mad. I would quit. I would just quit Destiny, like, on the spot, I think. I'd like to bring up a question asked to us by one Ronnie, who asked, what is the coolest thing coming out of the dev stream? What would be the least coolest? How would you change the least coolest thing, you think, to bring it up to par with everything else that was said? For me, it's this. I'm very excited that we have a returning D1 strike. I'm not excited that it's Sunless Cell. I like Sunless Cell. I want to be really cool. But if you give me the option, I would rather have Shield Brothers when I think about the challenge of it on a GM.
Mm-hmm.
I would rather have that.
Yeah.
Just because I feel like that final encounter is still going to be really challenging. I feel like we've grown beyond taking loser laps through the dark.
Mm-hmm.
But that's my personal opinion. So I don't know if that's my least favorite, because man, this was a really, really good show. But for right now, I'm going to say tentatively that's my answer. I want to think a little bit more on all this, but Titan also writes in and asks thoughts on Sunless Cell versus Shield Brothers and Sunless Cell's return. Shield Brothers for life, man. Shield Brothers is just so much better. I have great memories of that Nightfall from back in the day.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We were having a little mini discussion. Titan asked and was exactly on my wavelength on this. Am I the only one who thinks Sunless Cell is a bit overrated? I would have preferred they brought back Shield Brothers instead. Would love to run that on modern day Grandmaster with Solar Burn. Absolutely. Nadiki tried speaking for all of us and said, "Yeah, you are the only one." No,
Nadiki.
Nadiki just has bad taste.
No,
he's got bad taste. So, I don't know. I'm happy that we're getting another strike and that it's more D1 content coming over. I'm glad it's a new story. Honestly, it being a new story and a new final boss actually makes me much more excited for this than I would have been. But I just, as soon as they said it was Sunless Cell, I just like kind of tuned out for the next minute. I was like, okay, I gotta mute myself. I'm not happy about this overall.
Wow.
I also have nightmares of that strike from getting the exotic swords and how you had to very specifically kill the enemy at the end. You had to kill the Darkblade very quickly once you decided like what element the sword was going to be.
Right.
And if you were trying to do it with all three, it was even more challenging.
Yeah.
So yeah,
worst.
It was the worst. It was the worst of times. It was definitely the worst of times. So but Corey, let's get into what I think is the absolute standout of this entire show. It was the thing I was not expecting. If you put 10 things on a bingo card and told me that, hey, one of these things is going to be on the live stream, I don't know that this would have been the one that I would have said wouldn't have shown up. I think that's our final thing. But this is really fucking cool. This clearly was developed in response to the positive reception that Pantheon got last year.
Yeah.
New free activity for all Guardians, the Rite of the Nine.
Yeah, that sounds cool.
Brings 3 dungeons back. Prophecy, Spire of the Watcher, and Ghost of the Deep. Mechanically described as something sitting between Pantheon and Onslaught. 3 different difficulties will be available, and I'm so excited for this. Excited for this because you get the best of all the worlds here. You get Ultimatum, which is like Pantheon level difficulty. They said this is equivalent to the recent dungeon contest difficulty. Adept weapons with double perks can drop in Ultimatum. Performance is scored based on number of deaths in the dungeon. Fewer deaths grant more rewards. And then here's the big one. Not Swap is active. For those who do not remember what Not Swap is, it is what is active in Trials. And if you switch any of your guns or armor, you will lose all of your ability energy.
Ooh.
I think this makes it more a lot more challenging for just about everybody across the board. I don't necessarily agree with its inclusion because I think if you have the ability to do those swaps and you want to do those swaps, you should be able to. I also don't think that doing swaps like that needs to be the prerequisite for being able to finish this kind of content. The game, I don't feel the game is developed with swapping your loadout like 3 times in an encounter in mind.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I'm also not a speedrunner. I don't solo dungeons. I don't do carries. I don't do helps. I very much enjoy my runs that I do of endgame content, especially on contest or grandmaster difficulty. Mm-hmm. And then I just kind of go back to my life. So I'm excited to see how this plays out and if they stick to their guns with Not Swap. Presumably there's still some time before this happens. I don't think they're pulling the trigger on this when Act 3 comes out, like right away. Like, why blow your wad right there? Save this for like May or June.
Yeah.
In my opinion. Although I need some clarity on this, if this is going to be only a 3-week event or not, which is what a lot of us are interpreting it as. Mm-hmm. I'm hoping it's not just a 3-week event. I hope that they will just be that each dungeon will be on a rotator so that, 1 week it's Ghost, 1 week it's Spire. They've already said that when you're in that social space, which is the same social space from Trials of the Nine in year 1, by the way, really, really cool throwback there. Like for those of us who never got there, like me, I like that nod. I think that's cool. You can see whatever dungeon it is off in the distance. Like, you could see Spire during this.
Nice.
I'm very, 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 very excited for this. I think this is going to be fun. Pantheon, I'm on record as saying Pantheon's one of my favorite experiences ever in this game. I think it is the defining endgame experience that is not a day one contest raid that you could have possibly ever done in this game. So doing another activity like that is a great idea. But it gets better. Not only do we have that ultimatum difficulty, you have Eternity, which is basically, we didn't really talk about it. I think that's just meant to be like, oh, normal, and like go in there and farm your shit, essentially, because there's 12 reprised weapons to get out of here that all have brand new color schemes that are 9 themed.
Nice.
All from the weapons. I assume they can drop from any of the dungeons, though. Very similar to Pantheon. And then you have Explorer mode. And this is something I love this so much. And I hope this is something they adopt going forward for endgame content. Explorer mode is essentially easy mode. It is holding your hand. You are intended to learn the dungeons. They were using the first encounter of Spire here, showing us the tooltips that are in game above like the Vex puddles and like telling you how to complete the circuit puzzle and things like that. It is essentially having you learn it so that by the time you get to the boss, you don't need the tooltips anymore. You're equipped to do it. Also, another big thing, waypoints will appear during traversal sections. And it looks like there are some things to help you with traversal sections. We saw some platforms that I was like, hey, I've never seen those. And Joe was like, yeah. He's like, I don't know if you're watching on mute, but he's like, yeah, that's new for this. So I really like that. I think this is great. They clearly understand they got to get people into the end game. Yeah. And most players, there was a statistic at one point that most players will never touch a dungeon or a raid.
What was it, like less than 10% or something, like what, less than 30% even attempt a raid and like less than 10% even finished it at one point? Now those numbers might be different.
Oh, those numbers are definitely different now, but this is a great opportunity for those who also, should be noted, you do not have to own the dungeon key to participate in this. Everybody can do this.
That's great. That's good.
This is a great time to get in there and go do these dungeons.
Yeah, that's cool, because if people end up like playing this mode and enjoying it, they could go buy the dungeon key or you know.
Yeah, whatever. They might go get dungeon keys, or hey, maybe they want to go try raids next. Like, this is really, really, really important.
Keys altogether.
Dungeon keys are going away. I don't think the old ones are, but they will not be a thing going forward as of Apollo.
That's good.
So, because we're only getting one dungeon a year, so I do like that, though. I think that is just, we talk about making the game more accessible, and these are the kind of things you have to do. Mm-hmm. I don't understand the hate for this. Not everybody has, friends to go do these with. And my thing is, I like that they're doing it here first, because it is so much easier to get 2 friends to come do a dungeon than to get a group of 5 together to go learn a raid. Especially if nobody knows what they're doing. Mm-hmm. But a dungeon, and they said specifically they found people at Bungie who had never done a dungeon before, ever, and had them sit down and try this mode out so that they could tweak it based on that. And they felt by the end, like, yeah, these people could go run their own dungeons or, even attempt to solo them, which I think that's a bit of a stretch, but okay. Like, I don't think anybody is going to play Ghost of the Deep for the first time and go, yeah, I'm going to go solo this now if it's their first dungeon. No. You're going to be like, oh my God, that fucking DPS phase is awful. Right. It's just awful. So I really, really like that. There are a lot of rewards from here. And this is why I think this is going to be longer than 3 weeks. There are 12 reprised weapons that are going to have new perks, this and that. You can attune to the guns at the hub. You can see them all spread out. And that will let you have better chances at drops for them, a la Into the Light. Mm-hmm. And then on top of that, not only do they get the new look, not only do they get new perks, they also get a new origin trait on them, Gravity Well. Reloading these weapons attracts nearby ammo bricks. Cool. This is like shoot to loot for dummies, and I love it.
Nice.
I love it. I'm a very, 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 very big fan. I like this. This is the thing for me. On top of that, there are aspirational rewards, just like the Pantheon. There will be 5 emblems that you can earn. There will be special weapon skins, and there will be a seal and title, all as part of this event. This is awesome. This is what you have to do when you have these long ass seasons. I would not have been opposed to seeing something like this in like Act 2 though. Like look how dead Act 2 was.
Right.
You know? And now with us going into, we're only going to get 2 seasons a year with too many expansions. If this is the kind of stuff I can expect to see at the halfway point when they said we're going to get those 2 major updates in 6 months, we're going to get 2 major updates every 6 months.
Right.
This is the kind of stuff I would like to be seeing. I want to see things like this. This is the next step of that. I know they said like, Pantheon is going to return and this and that. This is probably this year's version of Pantheon and quote unquote.
Sure.
Cool. If you're going to do that, we all thought a Dungeon one was going to be the next one anyways. This is awesome. We need to play it obviously, but I loved Pantheon so much.
Yeah, it was a great
still
idea.
Gush about it to this day. That is one of my favorite experiences in a multiplayer game ever. So many Destiny experiences are on that list too, and for Pantheon to just take the cake is awesome. I learned how to do legit Riven. That was awesome. I got taught how to do Riven as a 3-man. It was great. I genuinely double rolks. Nobody expected double rolks.
It's true.
And then we were able to kick one of them off the platform, which made it even funnier. And Nez was actually challenging. I really love the experience of Pantheon, and I'm hoping that this is similar. I will be running these on ultimatum difficulty because I love my emblems and my seals and everything else. So I'm excited to do this. I want to see how this pans out.
Yeah, it's cool. I think this is great.
Yeah, Corey, as someone who did not get to check out the Pantheon, what are your vibes on this? As someone who admittedly is pretty much retired from raiding these days.
Yeah, not by choice, but
by children. As a former big time raider, how do you feel seeing events like this, and especially with the 3 different modes?
I love it. I think it's great. I think this is just kind of what the game needed to re-energize itself when it came out last time, right? And I didn't see anybody really criticizing it too bad. It seemed universally liked, at least. So I mean, I love this idea. I hope they keep it around. I hope they kind of figure out a way to kind of rotate things in and out. And kind of have the dungeon and the raid one kind of going at the same time at some point, or swap them out every season or episode or whatever they're doing, right? I don't know. I like it though. I think this is the end game type of content that people who love raiding and are kind of like, the people that raid like 2 or 3 times a week and kind of grind out the gear and everything. I think this is like a way to kind of give them a boost of like, I'm kind of tired of this raid, but it's in this. Let's go do this. So.
I'm very, 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 very excited for this. So to answer Ronnie's question, this is hands down the coolest thing that they announced.
Yeah.
I liked basically the entire stream. This was a big W for me. It's the guy with the walk gif. That's how I felt about this stream. This was just like, this was absolute bliss for me. This was 5-10 minutes of, oh my God, this is catered directly to me.
Yeah.
Because remember when Pantheon got announced, we didn't know what Pantheon was supposed to be outside of, it's going to be like a boss rush mode.
Yeah.
We didn't really know what it entailed. I think the one thing so it's funny, I'm going to kind of answer Ronnie's other question as part of this also. My least favorite thing, the attunement system. I am a firm believer that attunement in this game does not work nearly as good as it should. When it comes to weapons, when you attune to weapons into the light, it was very spotty for me. I tried for weeks and weeks to get that fucking god roll with the special ornament on it of Mountaintop. And I mean, for a while there, I wasn't even getting Mountaintops, period. I legitimately went like 20 turn-ins while being attuned to Mountaintop without getting one, and that was really frustrating for me.
Yeah.
I'm going to be really frustrated if it's like that this time around, because these are dungeons. These aren't, go do, a couple waves of onslaught real fast and then come back and, turn in your Shax tokens.
Right.
It's not the same thing for me.
Right.
Also, like, I don't think there's going to be matchmaking for this. Not that I want to matchmake into a dungeon anyways, even on Explorer difficulty.
You don't want to play with random people?
No, as a matter of fact.
You've never LFG'd some randos, and
I definitely have, and thank God some of them ended up becoming very good friends. But it goes back to that discussion about time allocation and resources. The one critique I would give this is I would be way more pumped for the weapons and the new rolls and the special look and things like that if I could craft them.
Yeah.
Because I feel like we learned the wrong lesson from Into the Light. And I've been saying this for a while. I thought it was evident from day one of Revenant, and it has just continued to get worse throughout this episode. And it's going to get worse with this event now. Now it's another 12 weapons that were getting dropped on us, in addition to the weapons from Heresy, the reprised weapons. Like, at a certain point, the vaults can't hold enough stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really frustrating because these are going to be new perk pools. These are new looks for the weapons. They have new origin traits. We want these versions of them. But that's not to say there's not versions, especially of these prophecy weapons, that are not still good, that are in the dungeon right now. So we don't want to throw those out of the vault either. It's very small potatoes, but just, I know that we are getting crafting with dungeons in Behemoth. I believe they have said that outright. Do not quote me on that, but I'm 99.999999999999999% sure that they confirmed that dungeons are getting craftable weapons going forward. Because I remember being, oh boy, craftable dungeon weapons, no more craftable seasonal weapons. Boo! Right. I remember being like that.
Yeah.
With us shifting to only 2 seasons a year, I think that'll be less of a problem. But if you're going to do a big event like this, I think that's part of what made Pantheon so magical for me and for other people who, like, maybe we cap out at like 15, 20 runs of a raid. We usually don't have all the weapons crafted. Mm-hmm. And for us to finish so many patterns, or in my case, start and finish several weapon patterns, was great. I really enjoyed that. I loved it. I finally got the fucking Ron trace after so many runs. And then it just started dropping in like every single encounter, and I had it crafted in a matter of minutes. Mm-hmm. It was great. Like those are the kind of experiences. Like, I loved how many spoils of conquest you got from doing it. I think one of the cool things about this is that I would hope that you get quests and or triumphs similar to Into the Light, where when you did the Pantheon quests, you could get the exotics tied to those raids. Mm-hmm. I would like to see that for Navigator and for Hierarchy of Needs. Mm-hmm. For people who don't have them, or, maybe the catalysts can drop or something if you don't have those. Like, I think that would be really cool to get. Also, give me a prophecy exotic, Bungie. Drop that one on me and give me a prophecy exotic out of this. Also would be really dope. So all in all, though, this was the runaway favorite announcement of everything that I saw. Not just for me, but it seems overwhelmingly, outside of the not swap controversy, everyone seems really pumped about this.
Yeah.
And not swap, I think it just kind of comes down to your feelings on like speed runs and optimal DPS. Like, and I hate that it's being turned into this argument of like, when more casual players like me are like, well, I don't really care. But a lot of the casual players are like, oh, why do you need to swap weapons? Like,
right.
Why do you care if they do?
Right.
It's just, why do you fucking care? Like, if they want to do it for their DPS rotations or for the betterment of their team, they want to be optimal, let them do it. Like, they don't want to be there all those phases. And if this is going to be like contest or something, that's kind of essential.
Yeah.
To me, that's kind of essential. That's essential for, not letting a boss enrage. I just did the contest clear, which I meant to talk about at the top of the show. I cleared Sundered Doctrine on contest on the makeup weekend.
Nice.
That was really cool. Shout out to Dealer and Mystics for running that with me. Love you guys. It was essential to have those swaps. Maybe not necessarily for me because I was on Div, but like, they were doing those swaps, and like, yeah, I totally get it. I understand why you would be swapping. I understand why you need to. Like, I get it, even if it's just like back when we used to swap chest pieces for like that extra rocket or two. Like, I get it. I understand.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't get it, like, that's okay. I don't think that like all of us need to be babied for it. At the same time, if this is the pinnacle content, there's two arguments to be made, I think, which is one, you should be able to be the best without having to have those swaps, but you know the game that well.
Mm-hmm.
The other argument is it's the highest end content. Let them do it the way they want to do it because it's the highest level content.
Right.
So I don't really care either way. I think I lean slightly more on just let people swap. If it's going to be that difficult, let them swap. I don't want to see a walk back a week into this because people are struggling so much.
Right.
So
yeah, I'm with you there.
I don't really. I honestly just like cannot think of anything that affects me less than this in this game right now. Just like, hey, if they want to do it, let them do it. You know, whatever. There are so many bigger potatoes to fry with this game right now. Let people swap their weapons and chess pieces if they want to.
Yeah.
Then we got a surprise announcement. I'm deliberately leaving Guardian Games out because we have a whole Guardian Games article to get through. They said PvP, and immediately I just was like, okay, I don't really care.
Uh-oh.
And imagine my surprise when on screen, Big Brig! Big Brig showed up! Heavy Metal is a new chaotic PvP mode coming in Act 3. What would happen if Guardians fought each other inside of Briggs and Drake tanks? This is a question we've asked for years, and soon we'll have some answers. If you didn't catch it on the live stream, we were wondering how many Moment of the Week submissions in the future will be 360 no-scopes from flying Drakes. Briggs will be dipping, diving, ducking, and dodging around the map, hunting for success. Who will come out on top? This looks just completely stupid, and I'm very excited. I think this is dumb. Drake tanks have a rocket boost and can do backflips also, and one team will have 6 Drake tanks, the other team will have 6 Brigs. You know, I've said for a while we need more goofy party modes like this. I'm very excited. I will, if this is added to custom games, I will be so happy.
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of something better than like before, like a Friday night movie with the buds or something, or like, oh, it's been a long week at work, firing up a private Crucible match and having mechs versus tanks.
That'd be cool.
It's so dumb. I love it so much. I just think it's so stupid.
Oh, that'd be cool though.
Immediately, I feel like Ronnie started hearing the choppers of Nam, and like the Creedence Clearwater Revival was just getting louder as he was watching this. When a member of our community suggested, "Well, man, can we get Iron Banner heavy metal?" Which like I would be okay with, but Ronnie was like, "Dear God, please no, please no." I feel like this is like when we got Iron Banner Mayhem that one time, and I loved it, and nobody else did. Jeez, because all you did was run around spamming supers. There was no skill involved. It was great.
Right.
I like party modes like this though. I like Mayhem. I like the idea of heavy metal. I like. I'm a little less cool with Scorch mode, but I think we need fun things like that. So I like things like Tribute, and I like things like what's the version where Keitel sends in the fucking what's it called? The fucking turrets on it. Like I really like that in Iron Banner. I like things like momentum control because I've always been going back to Halo 2, I've been a big SWAT fan.
Mm-hmm. Fortress.
Fortress, that's what I'm thinking of. I like Fortress. Other people don't. I love Fortress though.
I love Fortress.
So that's when you Rat King Glaive. It's great. I like goofy modes though, because I think there should always be a node for people to go play Control or Clash or whatever they want to. And then there just needs to be like party modes that pop up occasionally. It's like, hey, this is back for like a week. I don't think there's anything wrong with that whatsoever. I think it shakes up the meta a little bit. It lets you just like kind of go relax. I think those modes are needed to bring in people who don't like PvP modes because it's just a sweat fest all the time.
Yeah.
You just kind of go relax, and it's not even really PvP. It's you're walking around in a fucking tank or a mech shooting people. It's great. Cade 6 would have loved this. I'm just saying, if you don't like this, you don't love Cade 6.
You hate him, actually.
Yeah, you hate him. You
You're
spit
glad
on his
he
grave.
died twice.
He died twice for your sins. So I did enjoy this. So Tiger Jesus writes in and asks, we're definitely getting a Brig mission in Frontiers, right? Yes. Have to. You don't put Brig controls in there for us not to do this in the campaign or in a raid or something at some point.
Yeah.
You don't waste all this time doing that. Like, we've had Drakes for years. Now we're just bringing those over, right? But better. And then Tiger Jesus' other question is, what's y'all's favorite vehicle mission in any game?
Ooh,
I feel this is so obvious.
I feel like the Halo 3,
Halo 1 or Halo 3, those are your two choices.
Yeah, I mean those are pretty
I think it's really, really, really hard to beat either one of those.
I think Halo 3 for me, just because I feel like the Warthog controls better in that game.
Definitely. One I feel is like everybody knows the Maw, but man, 3, like when the Halo theme kicks in,
yeah,
is just so good. And like, if you find the hidden grunt too,
yeah.
I love it. That is the original like trick shot videos of like launching your Warthog.
That was so cool, man.
If you did it on what was it, on the Brute Choppers too?
Oh yeah.
It's so good. Just like everything about the final mission in Halo 3 is just such a love letter to the franchise. It's got to be the pick.
Yeah, I don't even know what else I would pick at this point. I mean, what would you pick? What's even another choice? Like,
so
you know what vehicle mission I hate, Josh? Is that one in Gears 1 right after you like escape the Krill, that dark Krill level?
Yes.
You have to shine the spotlight on the back of the thing, but when you shine the spotlight, it doesn't move. Oh, it's the worst.
I'm trying to think because I don't want to misremember and say that this was in this game and it really wasn't. Yes. When you can do the Battle of Endor and fly into the core of the Death Star 2 in Rogue Squadron 2, that is one of the great moments.
It's a pretty good one.
It's a pretty good one. I feel like it's almost cheating to put a Star Wars like fighter sim game up there.
It's fine.
I would say another one that I really like. I don't know if it technically qualifies as a vehicle mission, but the original AC-130 mission from COD 4 is really great. I enjoy that. Yeah. But man, it's so hard to beat the Warthog mission. So hard.
That's
It's
that's got to be it, right? I mean,
it's got to be it. It's got to be it for me. So
I can't even think of anything that comes close. I'm going to be honest with you.
No, nor can I, my friend. Let's jump over to Guardian Games.
Guardian Games.
I want to start with this armor. We're in agreement. This is the best Guardian Games armor we've ever gotten by a pretty large margin, right?
1,000%.
It feels more like I feel like this should be Solstice armor. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah, this feels like especially like the Titan with the Roman kind of garb with the shield. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is like,
well, so it corresponds to the class symbols,
right?
Which is why I really like it. It took me a little while to notice that those are snakes around the hunter gauntlets and around the quiver.
Mm-hmm.
I like this. I like this armor a lot. I can't believe I'm actually saying that. It makes me feel disgusting to say that. But I really like these armor sets. They really overhauled Guardian Games. And on its face, I'm going to say this is the best seasonal event that we've gotten. If these seasonal events are going to continue to be a thing, they have to have a reason to engage with them each year. And I really like this because before, they've done this to where, oh, well, it's class versus class in PvP, and that's never fun. That's never fun for anybody. Every class bitches about the other at that point. Oh, every class is overtuned. Like, yeah, no shit. And I think with Prismatic, it's going to be even worse.
Oh, yeah.
But Rushdown is a boss rush style activity where you battle a series of bosses taken from the Destiny 2 campaigns, seasonal story missions, and exotic missions. When each boss encounter defeated, combatants in the activity increase in difficulty. With 5 total encounters per run, you'll have a time limit to complete the run with time added for each successful encounter completion. Completing encounters in a run will earn you rewards with faster times, offering a chance for more drops or higher quality loot. There are 3 ways to play Rushdown. You can start with Warm-Up, which will be your entry point, Standard and Expert, then ramp up the difficulty, offering more powerful combatants with modifiers and adding revive tokens to the mix. Each mode will all offer options for standard matchmaking, class-based matchmaking, and private fire team. As you work your way through Rushdown, your performance will help determine the quality of your rewards. You'll be judged on 2 criteria, bosses defeated and your total score. You can increase score by completing encounters quickly and earning bonus points for the extra time remaining. Limiting your use of revive tokens will also increase your score as you get a bonus for unused tokens. Completing at least 3 encounters in any mode will guarantee a Guardian Games weapon drop for that run. With 5 score thresholds, bronze, silver, gold, platinum, and diamond, reaching higher thresholds in standard and expert will improve your chance for additional perks on Guardian Games weapon drops for that run. High scores in expert will also offer the chance to earn fully masterworked Guardian Games weapons with additional perks.
Ooh.
This is awesome. I like this so much.
Yeah, this is cool.
We've been begging for things like this. It's like they saw Pantheon and they're like, damn, we should have done this like years ago. Yeah, you should have.
You know, Josh, this is where your multiple versions of Taniks come in.
Probably.
And then it ends with Skull Loss.
Oh my god. Dude, the Skull Loss fight is it's something. It's something in Challenge of Elders. Of course, standard scoring as always, bragging rights, blah blah blah. There's certain flares and glows that you can get, which I like. That's the same as always. There will still be class-based supremacy and Gambit, I believe. So that's going to be a big thing. So it is back. It's not gone, but it's back. I think I like these armor sets because like the Titans don't look big-chested and big-shouldered, and then the Warlocks finally have a minimalist set.
Yeah.
This just looks good. This armor just looks really good. I'm actually very excited to get the Hunter set.
Yeah, it looks cool. I think the Hunter set looks the best by far.
One thing I would like to it's a complaint that I keep having, but I didn't like how it was phrased in this showcase. DMG, we love DMG here at Tower Casuals, friend of the show. Dylan said that, well, you can earn these sets for free with Bright Dust. So, go do those Pathfinders and do those weekly challenges and your weekly bounties for the event. Guys, if you're going to promote this as being free to earn, we need to be able to earn enough dust in the event to buy a set of armor with Bright Dust.
Uh-huh.
I'm just going to say it. We're going to have, you got to let us do it at some point. Or, hey, completing X amount of challenges will give you like a discount on the amount of Bright Dust you need to buy it. So like, if you were to do weeklies and do like a select amount of challenges, then, it'll only cost you a certain amount of Bright Dust and you'll get the Bright Dust from doing those challenges.
Yeah.
I think something like that would be worthy. And I'm going to keep reiterating my other thing. If the stuff for the event is more than like 2 or 3 years old, you need to just start giving shit away.
Mm-hmm.
People haven't bought it, and there's a reason why they haven't bought it, either due to funds or they just don't care. So just give it away.
Yeah.
There's no point.
No point.
If you did not get the All-Star Vector Skimmer last year, you can get it again now. Everybody will get to try it out for free during the event, and you have to complete a quest line in order to keep it. It's totally worth doing if you do not have a skimmer. Either get this one or go buy the Zerf board. It's totally worth it. Fuck sparrows.
The Zerf board.
The Memento is back, of course. We all knew that one was coming. It's funny because I was talking to A1 Johnny and he said, "Yeah, I got a lot of Guardian Games Mementos because I'm never going to play Guardian games." 3 days later, they show this. 3 days after that conversation, and he was just like, "Shit, like this event actually sounds really fun this year." On top of renewed perk pool for Taxapros, the title, and Hullabaloo, we have one new weapon available only during Guardian games. Kuranos is how I'm going to choose to pronounce this. A new arc trace rifle that can roll with combos that fit very well in our arc-centric episode, including jolting feedback, recycling energy, and rolling storm. This is cool. I don't understand why it's arc. We just got an arc trace in fucking Iron Banner. Maybe that one should have been like a stasis one or something.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
But this thing sounds I can't wait. This with those new perks. Oh, I'm gonna be catch me grinding this on Tuesday, Corey.
Yeah. Yes.
I can't wait. I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
Here
of course,
for it.
The champ title is back. I want to make a note on my bitching and moaning about not having free rewards. Completing challenges in the event card will give you new weapon. It will completing challenges in the event card gives you great rewards, including weapons, a new exotic emote, new exotic sparrow, and a new legendary shader. And that is before you do the upgrade. Also, I'm also just kind of a believer that like the stuff that was in the event card the year before should just be like significantly discounted the next year in the shop.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yep.
That's my personal opinion. Or at least guarantee that it's going to be sold for dust or give it away. Like, whatever.
Yeah.
The thing I'm not looking forward to with this Guardian Games jersey looks ugly as shit. This looks terrible.
It's
This is a
great.
choice.
This is
a choice.
It's something.
I'm also one of those, like, I've gotten really selective with what I will and will not wear from game companies when it comes to, like, repping a game that I like.
Yeah.
Bungie has so many cool shirts, but for, like, every cool shirt they have, we get something like this, and I'm just like, ew.
Yeah.
Why? Why is it, like, why is this a thing?
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I do not know who this is for, but kudos if you like it. I mean, I also did not like the jacket a few years ago, but Chelsea loved the look of it so much that she made me buy it on my account for her. So who the fuck am I to say?
This, I don't know. It looks wide and short, which bothers me.
It's funny because they showed it on the stream and it didn't look like poorly made, or it didn't look badly sized. It was just like, I don't know who this is for. Like, I'm a sports fanatic, and I will tell you where I would never be caught dead wearing this outside of my house.
Yeah.
Which means I'm not buying it if I can't wear it outside my house. I'll stick to my Tommy Bahamas, my off-brand Tommy Bahamas at that.
Right.
I'm the only one in this office who watches Burn Notice.
Jeez.
That's a Stanley Hudson deep cut for those of you who did not watch episode or season 8 of The Office when they go to Tallahassee. It's great. It's great.
Did they say why they chose the number 25?
I assume because it's 2025.
Oh, yeah, I forgot.
I try to forget.
Oh, Josh, what is happening?
Gifting subs on Twitch during Guardian games will earn you the competitive contender emblem. This is a really cool emblem, and I hate that they have started this trend of so many cool emblems either tied to Twitch subs, watching Twitch streams, or buying shit in the store. And let me tell you something. My Twitch account has been linked for years. I have relinked and relinked and relinked, and I have never been able to get my emblems, even though it says that it's ready for me to claim them.
Yeah.
I've never been able to, and I'm just super bitter about all the cool ones I've missed out on over the years.
Yeah.
I want to work at, but I want to know somebody who works at Bungie just so they can like go into the back end of my account and just give me all the emblems I've missed over the years.
Yeah.
For like Twitch streams that I have definitely watched and claimed the thing for, and oh, your account's not linked. Like, yeah, it is. Twitch says it's linked. Bungie says it's linked, and it's not here.
Yeah.
Every time.
Yeah.
Oh boy, I'm so frustrated by it, Corey.
I hear you.
I'm frustrated, but Guardian Games, like, I can't believe I'm saying this. Guardian Games is the one I rally against the most, I feel. And they have genuinely won me over here. And we've talked about it before, but with you shifting to 2 releases a year and having a rotating selection of things, it's like a Destiny Lazy Susan over here, right? Because you're gonna have 2 seasons, you're gonna have a raid, you're gonna have a dungeon. They've already talked about how the raid is gonna get new encounters after like 9 weeks, and then they're gonna do a Pantheon style thing in the back half of the second season. That's all fine and great. These free events, though, have to be worth playing if you want to retain players beyond just like your big moments.
Yeah.
So if this is the one that we get revamped now, I am crossing and hoping and praying that all of them are going to go through some sort of revamp now, with them only having 2 seasons to worry about. Maybe there'll be maybe some of the seasonal people will get put on the events team and they will make them better. I would also like really love to see Crimson Doubles back. We got 2v2 Clash this week. Crimson Doubles can come back for like the month of November. I know it got taken out, but hey, that would give PvP mains something that they would really enjoy. Yeah. Because I'll tell you what they're not enjoying, Corey, in the segue of all segues.
What aren't they
They're
enjoying?
Not enjoying the new pulse rifle, Redrix's S-Stock.
Oh, jeez.
This thing is a fucking nightmare to play against. It has actively got me considering going and getting my comp placement matches done just so I can get this gun to start dropping for me, because it's that good.
Jeez.
It's that fucking good. This is just bananas. This is bananas. I went into trials during the first revamp weekend. And Corey, I got my ass beat 7 ways to Sunday by this gun repeatedly.
Yikes.
It did not matter what I was using. I was getting my ass whooped by this. It's like, I don't remember the last time a gun to me was this oppressive in Crucible, that was like a kinetic weapon. It's not kinetic, I know that, but like that a top slot weapon was this oppressive in Crucible.
Jeez.
It's like it's that rough to me. Dang. So that's not to say that it's not good, and I really, really, really enjoy that it's good. I'm also really loving Joxer's longsword. Is that the name of the gun? The pulse rifle you can get for us normies in Crucible. I'm really liking that. But Redrix's S-Talk. So they're making a lot of changes to this, and it's so significant that I feel like we have to talk about this. So this is a weapon that is very similar to the BXR. I believe it's the second gun that has followed the BXR model. Sword logic in particular is the big one here. So sword logic damage has been tuned in PvP. It will not affect PvP or PvE. Reduced base damage bonus for kills against players from 20 to 15%. Increased damage bonus for kills against players in super form, 35 to 50%. As mentioned before, we'll be adding this perk to more weapons in the future, and we need to be in line with our other damage perk options in PvP. For perks in Crucible, we generally cap damage effects that trigger off a single weapon kill with no additional action required at 15%, such as Master of Arms and Golden Tricorn. We allow damage perks to surpass the limit when additional action is required. For example, Kill Clip, 25% kill plus reload. Harmony, 20% kill with another weapon. Desperate Measures, blah, blah, blah. But we want to avoid allowing a single kill to grant the same damage bonus as other perks with harder to activate triggers. Agreed. Walking back some of the buff that lightweight pulse rifles received in a Destiny 2 update 8.1.5.3. Body shot damage against players reduced from 20.4 to 19.7. Crit hit damage against other players reduced from 31.8 to 31.5. Some people question why we are nerfing all lightweight pulse rifles and the adjacent BXR when it appears that Redrix alone is the issue. Redrix is the most common weapon in Crucible, but its popularity disguises the fact that lightweight pulses are quite strong across the board. When we look at the top 30 most effective primary ammo weapons in Crucible over the last few weeks, lightweight pulses account for 6 of them, which is double the representation of the second highest weapon subfamily. Outside of Redrix's S-Stock, Outbreak Perfected, yep. Stay Frosty, Chattering Bone, BXR, yep, and even Bad Juju are all making their presence known, and nerfing S-Stock alone would simply shift usage to other options and not address the core issue. They do not kill the fastest or the farthest. They are still widely used, are less effective in high skill matches. Their increased forgiveness at medium range is stepping on the roles of rapid-fire pulse rifles and ARs, leading them to dominate the middle of the skill curve. So reduced handling strat on Redrix's S-Stock from 79 to 74. And that is to nerf Redrix's high stats. So I will say, I agree with the statement here that it has high stats as would be expected of a comp weapon reward, but the handling is too far above its closest competitor, the BXR. I do think, we've talked about this so many times, I don't really want to relitigate this point, But if you're going to have rewards in comp, they have to be worth playing for. This is the weapon that's getting people into comp.
Mm-hmm.
People are going and playing comp. Now, comp is still a steaming pile of bullshit, and it's not good.
Mm-hmm.
But this is at least getting people to dip their toes into it. We're going to have to see a trials level revamp of comp going forward at some point.
Yeah.
And I think it has to happen sooner rather than later. But for right now, you've at least got people interested because of the gun.
Yeah.
And that's a big thing. I think with like the longer seasons that are coming, maybe once when the expansion drops, and then once when you do that like into the light style drop, because I believe they've said they're going to do vendor refreshes at that point too.
Mm-hmm.
For the weapons you can earn. That would, I think, be a good time to do that. So like, oh, hey, maybe you set out comp last season, but you can still go earn this weapon, of course. Blah, blah, blah. So I'm interested to see what happens there. The other one that we need to address is On the Prowl and Hunter Smoke is being tuned in the Crucible. The smoke debuff will no longer reduce player move or speed or jump height, will not reduce your weapon handling, and will no longer suppress player movement abilities. The smoke has basically been a second grenade for so long for hunters. And then for On the Prowl, hunted players no longer have pink glow in first person's perspective and reduced glow intensity on hunted players in third person. Void Hunter's always been an issue. They've had to retune this class so many times over the years, like going back to D1.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah,
I'm not surprised to see this at all. The smoke changes had to come though.
Yeah,
it was to a point where I don't even like running smoke because I don't play PvP a ton, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't even like running smoke, and I was recognizing that I need to like tune my build, and I need to be running smoke in PvP. Just straight up, because you're doing your team a disservice if you're not throwing that and immediately throwing a grenade on them. So, there is an ornament coming for Worm God Caress with codename Frontiers. This is a pretty cool looking armor.
Yeah, it looks
piece.
Cool.
It feels very Drifter inspired.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, and it actually makes you kind of want to wear Worm God's Caress.
Yes, yes, indeed.
That is one ugly exotic.
Yeah. Let me see. What else do we have? Yes. So, wanted to revisit last week's TWAB real fast, since we only do this every other week. Moments of Triumph has gone live. If you have not played since Tuesday, Moments of Triumph is live. I found it very funny that I logged in and had the seal already completed. That's the first time in a very long time that I feel I've logged in and just had my Moments of Triumph thing done immediately. I had exactly 26 Triumphs done, because there's still 2 that are secret for Act 3 that are a part of it.
Yeah.
But basically everything else, thankfully. The only thing I still need is they did a pin this year. They did the seal pin, but they did a pin if you do the raid and both dungeons. So Sunder Doctrine and Vesper's Host, as well as Salvation's Edge. I need an SE clear this act or not this act, but this episode in order to get it. And it's very similar in line to the other raid and dungeon pins. I think I got one up here. That's the dungeon pin. It's kind of like a combination of the raid and dungeon pins. I have a raid pin here too. If you're watching on video, I've got the Vow of the Disciple and the Duality pins. It's kind of like a mashup of both, because you've got the point from the bottom of the raid pins and the circular nature of the dungeon seal. So I do like that. I think that's cool. At first, when I saw it, I was like, oh, is that like the patch that can go on the shirt? And this is also the year where I haven't bought a Moments of Triumph shirt in a while, and this did not do anything to sway me back towards it. I'll tell you that. I don't really like it. I like the anniversary logo is still on there. It's like everybody forgot that there's a 10th anniversary happening. But the Techno Protection shell and the Flag Bearer Sparrow is cool. It just makes me want to go watch Shogun again. So yeah, overall, it's been a banger week and a half, which I'm sure something horrible is about to happen, but man, it's been good. We are eating good the last couple of weeks here.
Yeah,
we're really eating well.
It seems like seems like Destiny's really kind of turned a little bit of a corner.
It's the cycle, right? Like this always happens when we're leading up to a new piece of paid content that we need to be excited about.
Yeah. But I feel like some people may have thought this felt a little different just because of obviously the layoffs, and then the final shape was so final for a lot of people that it almost felt like the Marvel syndrome of like, we don't really know what we're doing yet next, but we got to put some content out for the people who are sticking around.
Oh man. And like, I've been pretty clear about this. Like, I like the story of Maya, but overall, like, Echoes didn't really hit for me. Revenant is just a wet noodle, man.
Yeah.
So to see Heresy hitting the way that it has, at least through the first, handful of weeks, obviously we'll have more story beats coming out with Act 2. We'll see how Court of Blades is, and then obviously, into Act 3 and beyond. I'm hopefully optimistic.
Mm-hmm.
And I do think that maybe reducing the amount of content they put out in a given year, like reducing the size of the expansions, going to 2 seasons, doing smaller, more frequent free events like the holiday events and like Into the Light and Rite of the Nine and things of that nature. I think that's how you keep players engaged. And it's just such a shame that it's being figured out now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, can you imagine how happy we would have been if this was Guardian Games back when Guardian Games launched like 4 years ago?
Right.
How good that would have been. That would have been,
plus,
honestly, that would have been a really great way to keep some of the strike bosses that you just took out of the game with the DCV or with former seasonal content. This would be a great way for them to live on.
Right. And like, it would have helped with like, they don't change Guardian Games every year, but they can add new bosses, right? Like, yeah,
they can add new bosses. There can be like a pool of like 10 you can pull from.
Yeah.
I don't understand this.
Yeah. Hindsight's 2020 though, Josh.
Hindsight is in fact 2020.
I don't know if that pertains to the situation or not, but we're gonna go with it.
I don't know. I also really, really like I've been vocal about how I did like when they did Bonfire Bash with Solstice, but the problem was they keep using the EAZ.
Mm-hmm.
And Bonfire Bash really was just like a quicker way to do it. Like it wasn't actually like that fun. It was just, we're reducing the size of the area you have to be in for this.
Yeah.
With this whole giant area, and we're only going to really use the courtyard and like maybe a few alleys.
Yeah.
And then with Glint's Lost Sectors with his ghost stories and whatnot, that's cool, but you've used the same 3 or 4 Lost Sectors for all 3 years of the event.
Mm-hmm.
Throwing in a little bit of new dialogue here and there isn't great.
Right.
Having Imaru as part of it was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And then that was just gone. So, like, I would have enjoyed having him as part of it. I think Spider being part of it can be really fun. Drifter, like, your, like, seedier characters should be a part of the Halloween event, I feel. And, like, I don't know. You gotta iterate somehow, and I feel like they have cracked it here. Obviously, when you play the event on Tuesday to see how we feel, the next episode we have will be approximately halfway through Guardian Games, so I'll be able to give a pretty thorough critique of that. But I just, man, we've needed this. This feels like a shot in the arm. You got the Trials revamp that just happened. Iron Banner is feeling okay this season so far. We just got a new dungeon, which is really, really cool. We're getting Rite of the Nine. We're getting Court of Blades. Nether is maybe the best seasonal activity they've ever done.
Mm-hmm.
And on top of all that, like, the Dreadnought's back. Like, our beloved Dreadnought is back, Corey.
It's back.
And I just find myself going, hot damn. Like, are we, like, I'm trying not to fall into the trap of, are we back? Because I don't want to be that guy.
Are we back? Are we back?
I don't want to be that guy because I'm tired of going in the perpetual circle of, are we back? Right now, I'm very, very cautiously optimistic. I want to see how the next, like, 4 to 5 weeks are going to determine a lot about how excited I will be going into Frontiers. And I'm pretty certain that in April, we're getting the reveal of Frontiers. I think it's going to happen when Act 3 drops. I think that's why we're not getting an Act 3 live stream, and they just went ahead and showed us stuff now, so it doesn't take away from a Frontiers reveal.
I think I agree with you.
I would actually go a step further. So I don't like addressing rumors on the show because they're usually not credible. But there's been enough Steam database leaks about this now at this point, about Marathon having a pre-order package on the back end, and there's been some rumors flying around about the Apollo pre-orders and a certain weapon that may or may not be returning. I don't want to spoil it for anybody who still cares about spoilers, like on gear spoilers, so I'll just keep that to myself. But there's been a persistent rumor that I've seen more than a few times now floating around in Destiny circles that there is going to be some kind of Bungie direct, quote unquote, happening in April or May that will be the formal reveal of not only Frontiers but also of Marathon and Marathon pre-orders. I Marathon is free to play, isn't it? Am I crazy in thinking that?
No, I don't think it is. I think it's.
Oh my god! If that game is not free to play, it's DOA.
No, I think it's one is $40. I think the rumor going around right now is that it's $40. And then that
goddamn, I'm very very quickly googling this. At
least that was the last rumor that I heard.
That was the last one I thought I heard too, but I could have sworn it was free.
I mean, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know, but I maybe I'm wrong.
Nope, you are correct. You are correct. This is from Eurogamer. Last September, Bungie's Marathon reboot will reportedly have $40 price tag despite the flop of Concord. Development is quote unquote too far along to change at this point. That it was according to Forbes' Paul Tassi, citing a source with firsthand knowledge of Marathon. Claims Bungie's uncertainty around monetization came to a head after free-to-play live service shooter The Finals underperformed. The subsequent success of Helldivers 2, which launched with a $40 price tag, is said to have ultimately convinced Bungie and Sony this was the right approach for Marathon. That was before Concord took the same approach and was so disastrous it was pulled from sale after 2 weeks and refunds were given out to players. Bungie and Sony reportedly still plan to release Marathon with a $40 upfront cost, complete with a standard cosmetic shop battle pass system, barring anything seismic, because, says Paul Tassi, development is simply too far along to pivot back to free to play. The extraction shooter is said to adopt a class hero system broadly similar to Apex Legends, but with greater focus on customization. Characters will repeatedly each have a handful of unique abilities such as double jump and fast revive, but the emphasis is said to be on customizable guns and gear, universal character implants, and gameplay buffs earned through XP and changeable skill trees. Tassi says this marks a shift from the game's original vision, which changed when Joe Ziegler replaced Chris Barrett this spring. Oh, God, then that's a whole saga. Yeah. Barrett's original vision for Marathon is said to have echoed the Dreaming City from Destiny 2, with puzzles and secrets to solve, but those elements were just not coming together in practice. It's also claimed Marathon won't get a significant reveal until spring next year, even though its development team is said to be very, very eager to get more in front of players and be able to talk about it. Forbes adds there's a lot riding on Bungie getting Marathon right, given a lack of goodwill from Sony following recent failures. However, Bungie getting Marathon out in 2025 with enough content and high enough quality bar will also be tough. Jesus Christ. This is just, I did not intend to read that entire article out loud, but just what?
But you did.
This has to be a fucking disaster. Marathon's going to be a disaster. I feel fairly confident saying that. $40 price tag for a multiplayer game these days that you're going to then battle pass and nickel and dime on top of that is just not good. Yeah. This might be a game that, it'll probably have, I'm not going to lie, it might have strong initial sales just because people, for whatever reason, seem to really want a good tactical shooter that's not Tarkov, however you pronounce it. Tarkov, I think, is what it is. They really want a shooter that's not Tarkov.
I mean,
nobody's really nailed extraction shooters, as multiple people have told me in the past in discussions. I don't like extraction shooters. I'm not interested in them, but if anybody can nail it, it's going to be Bungie. Bungie nailed the console casual MMO with Destiny. They nailed, console first-person shooter multiplayer with Halo and online multiplayer with Halo 2. If anyone can do it, it's Bungie. It's just a question of, is any of the Bungie magic still there? Bringing in the director of Valorant doesn't give me a ton of hope on that front that we're going to get the same Bungie magic. It feels to me like, this is going to be a game that they just didn't have time to make it Riot.
Mm-hmm.
So That being said, it is coming to PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. That's the most important thing, is that it's not being locked to just PlayStation. I think Sony has finally understood that live service games have to go to as many platforms as possible.
Well, does Sony understand that, or do they kind of that? I mean, was that part of their original agreement with Bungie after
So
purchase?
we did hear that that was part of the original agreement,
Yeah.
because Bungie was adamant they wanted to continue to release shit on every platform.
Right.
We did know that.
I think you're gonna have to look at whatever Gummy Bears ends up being, right?
Oh my god, I forgot about Gummy Bears.
Oh, jeez. I didn't mean to ruin your day, Josh.
Gummy Bears. Jesus Christ. All right. Well, moving on. There was one last thing I kind of wanted to hit. Trying to think. Ooh. Yeah, I'll hit on this real fast. Just some of the weapon drops I've been enjoying this season, specifically when it comes to the actual seasonal weapons themselves. I finally have enough drops of the dungeon weapons that I'm excited to talk about the dungeon weapons soon, and I got the awesome exotic. So definitely want to get some time with that to be able to talk about it. But I'm really digging the healing auto rifle Adamantite. I am really enjoying that. I got it with Circle of Life, and Reciprocity is the other one. So that one's been really fun to use in some of the harder content. I'm enjoying that quite a bit right now. I like the new arc trace rifle you can get from Iron Banner. I know it's not technically a seasonal weapon, but I wanted to hit on it real fast anyways. Enjoying that. I got it with jolting feedback and rewind rounds, and then I got another one with the new trace perk on it as well. I believe I did not get one with detonator beam. I take that back. I lied to everyone. I did not get one with detonator beam. I got a dungeon trace with it, I think. Oh, no, I got one here. It's just buried in my vault. Yeah, I got Detonator Beam, Envious Assassin. I need to play with that a little bit more just to see how I feel about it. I've got a couple drops of that. I am loving Psychopomp. Psychopomp might be my legendary weapon of the season so far in terms of like a seasonal weapon. It is Arc Witherhoard. We have Witherhoard at home officially. Between this and Lost Signal, it's just been a great time for area denial users. It's not quite the velocity baton from Vespers, which I still don't have the fucking attrition orbs roll on, but it gets the job done. It's still really, really fun. It's really fun. It's really good. It's not technically a drop from this season, but I'm also starting to enjoy the reprised Vogue weapons, specifically with Fatebringer. Fatebringer, I got a couple good adept rolls going when I was doing that a few weeks ago with some friends. Got it with rewind rounds. Got it with Firefly opening shot and Frenzy kinetic tremors. So there's some really fun ones to play with there that I need to go do some testing on that I'm really enjoying. If you haven't tried it out yet, the new exotic Lodestar has been a blast. Again, you get caught up in the weapons that you really like, and you don't want to use new stuff. The new LMG.
That's me.
That's Corey's problem.
Yeah.
I do like the new LMG. I have jolting feedback on it, and then I have one with target lock mulligan, which I'm really excited to play with. It's just there's been a lot of good weapon rolls, and I really need to just sit down and do more with them. It's just been, honestly, it's not even like a lack of interest. It is a lack of time at this point. This has been a very busy few weeks for me. Thankfully, I think that things are starting to like straighten out a tiny bit, but yeah, I'm way behind where I would normally be in terms of being able to talk about weapons. Even Peace Bond, there's a new drop of Peace Bond you can get from Iron Banner. I haven't even gotten to play with that, and that's one of my old favorites. Desperado Headstone, got that on one of those bad boys, and Rhyme Stealer Rangefinder on another one. So again, I need to sit down and play with a lot of these, but there are so many good weapons right now. I don't want to hear anybody say, "Oh, there's not good weapons this season." Like, no, there's some really good ones right now, and there's about to be 4 more on Tuesday. Well, 5 more if you include the Trace from Guardian Games, and then we're going to get 12 reprised weapons as part of Rite of the Nine. It suddenly makes sense why they're giving us the rest of the Act 2 weapons in Act 2, where the rest of Heresy weapons in Act 2, I should say, not the rest of Act 2 in Act 2.
Oh.
It makes sense why we're getting the rest of the weapons there instead of 2 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
And that's because I feel like that's the other evidence for why Rite of the Nine will be around for a little while, is we want you to go farm this stuff. We're making it accessible to everyone, and there's an easy mode.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
All right. I think that's all I've got for tonight. My voice is starting to go. My throat is super dry. Yeah.
I mean, we've been going for almost 2 hours, so.
Yeah, this is our longest episode of this show in a while.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but when we reconvene for Act 2, not only are we going to talk about Quarter Blades, I'll talk a little bit more in depth about some of the weapons, but I think we're just going to wait, and when we get into Act 3, we'll do a huge weapons blowout with A1 Johnny.
Yep.
At some point, I'll get John on here to come talk about him. I'll bring him in here. I'll recruit him.
Nice. Well, Josh, it's been fun.
It's been great.
Yeah. It's yeah. What was that? I was going to say something, but now I forget. Anyways, I want to thank everybody out there for watching or listening to this episode of Tower Casuals, the Destiny podcast. You can get it every other Friday on your podcast service of choice. You can also hear Josh and I on Josh and me on Xbox Casuals, the Xbox podcast, where we talk about other games other than Destiny. So if you're interested in those, catch us over there. Josh has also made some frequent appearances on the Boss Rush podcast, so probably see him popping up over there a little bit more sometimes as well.
Yeah, I've enjoyed being a frequent guest. I've been on 2 episodes in the last month, I think.
Yeah,
with you guys, and looking forward to maybe showing up for some Switch 2 stuff.
Yeah,
coming up. Speaking of things we were really excited about, I don't want to contain my excitement until next week. Tony Hawk 3 and 4 is happening, Corey.
Oh, I know
we talked about the it's happening, but man, I was so happy. Doomslayer is back too. Oh, it's so good. I love the brand synergy, man. Like, finally, they've just kind of figured out, just fuck it. It's a skateboarding game. Why can't we put a skateboarding demon in here?
Right.
It's great. It's great. I can't wait to talk about that. Next week, we're going to talk about Tony Hawk. We're going to talk about a lot of Monster Hunter. I played a lot of Monster Hunter Wilds this weekend.
Yeah, maybe
the bug has bitten me.
Maybe we'll have to get you and Laurent together to talk.
Oh my God, the veteran and the complete newbie. Yeah. I've been having a lot of fun with Monster Hunter Wilds. It's the first game in years where, well, not years, I guess. It's really like the first game since Helldivers that I feel like everyone I know is buying this game right now.
Yeah, I know. I'm
8 million copies in 3 days.
I'm like fighting the urge to buy it. But
it's one of those that I feel like you either fall in love with it right away or you're going to hate it entirely.
Yeah. No, I liked what I played of Worlds. I just
See, I did not. I waited until the first weekend was up, and people that I know for a fact do not like Monster Hunter games or do not like games like that were like, this is awesome. So I was like, all right, I'm getting it.
Man, am I going to get this, Josh? Is this am I going to end up getting this? Is it happening?
I don't know. I'm a fan though. I'm a fan of it. I think there's been a lot of cool things. I do. The other thing, I gotta add one more thing in here. Contest mode, Thunder Doctrine, guy who never plays anything other than a hunter. I cleared it on a warlock.
What? No way.
Yeah,
that's a lie.
Yeah, I got my contest clear on a warlock so that I could well lock while the 2 titans just spam the shit out of bolt charge barricades. It was great. Wow. It was great. That and the div. It was real great to be back on div. I loved it.
Div. What a weapon, huh?
Now, what a weapon! I had a lot of fun. So
Nice.
yeah, it's great. It's great. I can't wait for more of those experiences.
Nice. With that said,
now we can go.
Yeah. Everybody out there, thank you so much for watching and or listening. And until next time, we love you. Goodbye.